Many people come to Gatlinburg to fish, but there are things that you should know before casting a line. Today's video, we're going to talk about some of these rules and help you get started on your own adventure. Welcome to Bear Facts, where we explore the Smoky Mountains one bear fact at a time. For some people coming to the Smoky Mountains, fishing is the main draw. Some of these are your seasoned pros who spend countless hours researching and preparing for their adventure. And these are the people that are willing to climb treacherous rock cliffs, risk poisonous snakes, bear encounters, or broken limbs by slipping on slimy rocks in the riverbed. All that just to get a chance to catch a 4-inch native trout. But let's face it, not everyone is willing or able to go to these extremes. So, for those of you who want to still fish, but not risk life and limb to do so, Gatlinburg has you covered. The City of Gatlinburg boasts over 500 miles of fishable streams in their municipality, and they have invested a lot of resources to accommodate visitors who just love to fish. But with these come rules and costs that can get a little confusing, and finding information online can be tricky at times, especially in Gatlinburg. But there are rules that do need to be followed, costs that need to be paid, and things you should know before casting your line in the Gatlinburg waters. But you might be thinking, why make a whole video just on Gatlinburg and not the national parks and Tennessee? Well, the thing is that the city of Gatlinburg stocks their own fish, which means they have their own rules and pricing to go along with it. So let's learn about fishing in Gatlinburg. As I've already mentioned, the city of Gatlinburg does stock their own waters, but not only that, they stock it out of their own hatchery, which is right on the edge of town on the 321-441 stretch of highway, just on the edge of the spur. The hatchery is in Herbert Holt Park and is the only municipal trout farm in all of Tennessee. The facility is in the park, and it raises rainbow trout for the waters in Gatlinburg. They stock between 350 and 500 pounds of fish weekly into their waters. The park and hatchery was actually very recently reopened. They did some extensive work, and that included things to the surrounding facilities, including the hatchery itself. The park has free parking. Wow, that's something you don't hear about very often in Gatlinburg, and is a great place to bring kids and family. The hatchery is on the Little Pigeon River, a slower and wider stretch of the river, which makes it perfect for fishing and wading through. The park also has a public restroom, a play area for young kids, and is dog-friendly. They have small picnic areas for visitors who just want to enjoy the evening and escape the noise and, price gouges of Gatlinburg. When we were here in May, we even saw this otter family playing and frolicking in the water. It's really quite a beautiful location to go see. The Herbert Holt Park has easy access to the stock waters for handicapped individuals and smaller kids. But keep in mind that kids under the age of 12 or physically handicapped individuals are the only ones who can actually fish here at the park. The hatchery provides stocked rainbow trout for the west prong of the Little Pigeon River and the waterways of the city. People can fish the west prong Little Pigeon River, Dudley Creek and Roaring Forks from the national park boundaries, and LeConte Creek from the Painters Branch down to the west prong Little Pigeon River. These areas in Gatlinburg are stocked every Thursday, which means that there is no fishing allowed in the Gatlinburg waters on any given Thursday. Gatlinburg has posts that talk about the rules at every one of the fishing holes, so claiming ignorance will not work. So just make sure that you make those plans and know that you cannot fish on Thursdays. Okay, so let's go over a few other important things you need to know before you try and cast your line. Let's start with prices, because fishing in Gatlinburg isn't free. Ha! You thought it would be. Silly you. The City of Gatlinburg has their own fishing permits and fees that go along with them. They are separate from the Smoky Mountain National Park and other waters in Tennessee. So if you want to fish in Gatlinburg, you need to get one of those permits for Gatlinburg specifically, and you'll need a Tennessee state license for fishing as well. So you can't just get one, you do need both. You can purchase your state license online and get your Gatlinburg one at the same time, and there are a few places that sell them. One of the easiest places, though, to get your fishing permit is at the Gatlinburg Visitor Center. And this center is on the 441-321 spur between Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. The Visitor Center has free parking, yay. They also have maps, restrooms, and many other things to help orientate you as you enter the city. During open hours, 9 to 5, you can actually talk to a person and ask them questions. And they have knowledgeable staff that will give you advice on the best possible places to go or check on changes to rules and regulations before you purchase your permit. This center is also popular because of your access to the public trolleys. Many people take advantage of the free parking and leave their vehicles there to hop on the trolleys. We've done a video on the trolleys, and I'll leave a link for it in the description if you want to learn more. The prices for fishing permits can be found online if you search hard enough, but because there are so many variables to pricing, I don't want to bother with all of them. It would just take forever, and this video would go on for a very long time. But just be aware that the non-resident 3-day Tennessee permits start around $40, and then they go up from there. And then Gatlinburg also charges $11.50 a day, and you can add another day for $3.50 or 3 days for $9.50. And children under the age of 13 don't need a permit. But things change all the time, so just double check your pricing before you go in and assume you're going to just pay those prices because, yeah, you know how these things go. Nothing stays the same. Fishing is allowed year-round during the daylight hours only, which is defined as 1/2 hour before sunrise and 1/2 hour after sunset. And though you can fish year-round, you can't keep the fish year-round. So they actually do have a catch-release season, and then they have an open season. The catch and release season is from December 1st through March 31st. And you are allowed to use a lure, but it has to have only a single hook on it. All right, multiple hooks are not allowed. In fact, multiple hooks are not allowed anywhere in the Smoky Mountains, basically. So just leave them out of your tackle box if you decide to go fishing here because you don't want to be caught using them. During the catch and release, there's also some pretty heavy restrictions on what kinds of lures you can use. All right, so this is from their website, and they say you can't use any bait, which is defined as any living or dead organism or a prepared substance designed to attract a fish by taste or odor. For example, no fish eggs, no fish themselves, crayfish, grubs, worms, crickets, corn, cheese, bread, putty, anything like that that has flavor or scents on an artificial lure. So there is a lot of limitations during the catch and release season. However, open season, which runs from April 1st through November 30th, during this time, there's very few restrictions when it comes to bait. However, the hooks is the same. You can only use a single hook. There is a 5 trout per person limit for the general streams and 2 trout per child in the children's streams. And there is actually no size limitations on fish. So if you catch a fish and it was 5 inches, you can keep it. If you catch a fish and it was 2 inches, I guess you can keep that too because it says there's no limit. Like I said, though, who knows? Things can change. Either way, generally you'll find the stock trout in the Gatlinburg area to run between 5 to 25 inches. Don't expect the 25-inch ones very often or anything to exceed that, but you never know. You might luck out. Okay, so I covered the basics of what you should know about fishing in Gatlinburg. And though I'm sure there are way more things that I haven't covered yet, knowing the basics will give you a good start for your own research. And yeah, I would highly suggest doing your own research because, as I always remind my viewers at the end of every video, facts and things change. So you don't want to get a ticket for something silly if you had just checked before you fished. All right, and here's a couple little things that you might not think of when you're on vacation. Even though Gatlinburg stocks just about all the water in the town, that doesn't mean that the water is on land that is owned by Gatlinburg or that you have the right to be on that property. Just be aware that there is a lot of private property still in Gatlinburg, and if there's any signs that say private property, stay away, please respect that because we're guests there and we don't want to be rude. Plus, Tennessee is an open carry state, so just saying. Also, hotels and private businesses often actually give you easier access and allow you onto their property, but there are a few places that do say no trespassing. So just be aware, look out for any private property signs. It's just plain disrespectful if you're on their property without their permission. All right, here is another thing. Fly fishing is by far a much more prevalent form of fishing in these kinds of waters. They're very clear waters. And though we have seen people successfully using spinning rods, you will still have more success with a fly rod. If you don't know how to use one or want to learn, there are actually a lot of fishing guides out there who you can find online or stores that actually provide private lessons. In the past, we've hired guides for fishing in the Smoky Mountain National Park, which I would suggest if you're not from the area. But do your research and look for reputable sources. We actually have found that the Little River Outfitters in Townsend, they're actually pretty free with information and willing to give suggestions. They specialize in fly fishing and even offer fly fishing lessons. They also have a list of local guides who are known for being reputable. So do your research. If you're going to get a guide, I would highly suggest it, especially if you are attempting to fish in the park itself. Now, if you really wanted to check fishing in the Smoky Mountains off your bucket list, but don't have the time, don't want to bother with the license, don't want to bother with dragging dead fish around after you're done fishing or lug your own fishing gear on vacation, there is also one alternative. If you go down to Sevierville, there's a place called the English Mountain Trout Farm and Grill, and you can actually catch your own fish and they'll cook it for you all in one simple meal and day. And it's actually way more convenient and easier if you have really, really little kids or you just want to try it, but you don't want to invest that heavily into it. I actually done a video on this if you're interested in learning more, and I'll leave a link at the end of the video if you would like to watch that video. And that's all I have for you today. I hope this video helps you plan your visit to the Smoky Mountains. You're getting an honest review from our personal experiences, but facts and things change, and the government changes their rules and regulations constantly, and prices keep changing. So please keep us in the loop if you learn anything new and want to share your experiences in the comments. Thanks again for visiting us at Bear Facts of the Smoky Mountains. Please click that like button and subscribe to our channel.